If you all have been following the context of the first reading is, I mentioned this before, God allowed Israel to be conquered by their enemies because they frankly lost sight of who God is. They did not repent. They were worshiping false gods. And God told them time and time again, I want you to repent. I need you to repent, because if you don't repent, what happens? Death. You lose me forever. And so the context is that each time we're reading these first readings, Israel, they would repent and then they would fall back into the same issues. But now, the people that conquered the Israelites, in their arrogance, they believed that it was just them. But God said, I allowed you to conquer the Israelites. It is not you, it is me. And so what do you think now happens to these enemies of Israel? They get so caught up in sin that their sin is like, how do I describe it? Their sin is like going on top of mounds and mounds of treachery, of arrogance, of murder, of deceit. Now they are so deep in their sins, and now God says, Israel, your time has come. I will save you. I'm here. I'm still your God, and your enemies will now no longer be there. So they got so caught up in their own sinfulness that these enemies, they got stuck in their pride, believing that, where is your God now? Imagine they're pestering the Israelites. Where is your God? He left you. He's not real. Look at us. We're the best. And God is saying, justice will now come for what you have said. And I say this to you all in this context now of Jesus now, of the gospel. Jesus is speaking to his disciples, trying to teach them a valuable lesson, trying to tell them what is the most important thing about life. What is the meaning? What is the purpose? Where are you going? And then I want you to focus on this. I want you to look at what happened to Israel's enemies and how their conceit, their pride, literally the enemies began to conquer they had everything, guys. They were like the top of the top of the top in all of what it means to have power and might and glory. And eventually they literally lost everything. Compared to what God says to his disciples, he says, what profit would there be for one to gain the whole world and forfeit his life? If you desire to get your life, you will lose it. But if you lose your life for my sake, you will find it. And therein lies the whole thing about God. It's totally different from the world. The world says, forget God, the world is going to give you everything. God says, you let go of the world and I will give you everything. But you notice how you can't have both, right? You can't have the world and have God too. You can't. Why? Because God alone wants to be everything for you. And so my question for you all is this: what profit would there be if you are to gain everything that the world has to offer, but then lose God in the end? Every single week, I find myself asking someone this question. I asked someone this question this week. I said, what do you want? I looked at him dead in the face and I said, what do you want out of life? And he said, I want God. And I said, okay, well, get up, come towards God. He loves you, he forgives you. But friends, we got to fight for something. Anything that is good, we have to fight for it. How many of us fight for things that are maybe not the best things, but we fight for it, right? We struggle for it. We will do anything for it. Like St. Paul says, people will fight for that crown. They want to get that crown in the end, but imagine the crown of heaven. How much more is fighting for the crown of heaven, that even if it's hard, friends, it's literally everything. And so my hope is that let Jesus' words be words of encouragement for you, that if you're someone who's feeling discouraged about the world, understand that it's difficult to fight for God, but it's worth everything.